Today, catching the world of sports and much of central Indiana by surprise, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the IndyCar Racing Series are being sold, and they're going to one of the biggest names in all of racing. Our own Rafael Sanchez watched this all happen today. He joins us live right now from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. More on this big purchase made by Penske Entertainment. Rafael, what have you found out?
Lord, for us Hoosiers, a wow moment. Who would have thought on a Monday that we would even hear the news that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was for sale, and then that it went to the winningest owner of IndyCar drivers, Roger Penske. That's what's happened today. Roger Penske is now the owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For race fans, they will not see any major changes because of the sale. So race fans who are worried about what's going to happen for the Indy 500, it's going to be okay for now. There could be some changes down the road. As for when the sale will be complete, that will happen sometime in January due to federal regulatory issues. Roger Penske did speak to us here today on the fourth floor of the Pagoda, saying that he is interested in bringing more activities to Speedway and to Indianapolis, that he's willing to take some risks as the new owner of the Speedway. As for Tony George, the former owner of the Speedway, he called this a bittersweet moment. Of course, his family was here, and this is what he had to say to us and the world.
You know, we all love it and we all care deeply for it, and you know, I think we all realize that as a family and as an organization, we probably had taken it as far as we can. I think that you know, his structure, his resources, his capabilities that he demonstrates is only going to take this to another level.
I'm planning to really step down from being a strategist on the pit box. You won't see me there on race day. I think I've got a bigger job to do now, is to try to see how we can build a series to the next level.
So that is the big announcement here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But how is this really playing out on Main Street? For that, we went to Charlie Brown's restaurant, where people always have something to say, whether it's about politics or racing. So between a side of eggs and toast, this is what fans of the Indy 500 and the fans of the Speedway had to say about this major announcement.
I think it'll be a good thing. I'm a big fan of Penske, and anything Roger touches, it will help the Speedway, I believe.
We hear now that Mr. Penske is buying the place. What are your thoughts?
It surprised me that they sold. I mean, it really does. I didn't think that they'd ever get rid of it. But as long as it's Penske, I'm okay with it. You know, he always does a great job in any business that he ever gets into.
A full coverage of today's momentous decision and announcement here at the Motor Speedway on the RTV6 app, as well as the IndyChannel.com. Back here live at the Speedway, of course, our entire sports team is here covering this event. As you can see, my colleague, Sports Director Dave First, already speaking to Roger Penske, who is the owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, getting that interview. We'll have much more on that one-on-one later today. But also my other colleague, who also knows this place oh so well. We lean on you, Brad Brown and Dave First, every May and through the entire racing season, because you bring it home for us who don't do this every day. What does this mean for you as someone who has covered this race for so many years?
Well, I think the first thing that struck me was the two comments that stood out for me. Tony George made the comment that the Hulman family really had taken the Speedway, they thought, as far as they could. Roger followed that up by talking about the future of the Speedway, and I think when you put a new set of eyes from the top down on a place like this, all of those what-ifs that come into play. What if we could have a night race here? What if we could have a sports car race here? What if going forward, the future of this place? And I think it will be very interesting to see kind of from 2020 and beyond what sort of the next big picture is. Really, the Hulman family was involved here for 75 years. Where does this start for the next 75 years for what this place really can be? So
as the news team passes on the baton to the sports team and our coverage later today, what will be your number one question that you'll want to know from Mr. Penske and this whole, because we don't have many of the details, financial details, or how this will all shake out. What do you want want to know.
I really think, what does this mean for IndyCar as a whole? Because the 500 really is just the biggest piece of the puzzle for the series as a whole. And if you're a racing fan, if you're an IndyCar fan, what does this mean for the teams? What does this mean for perhaps something more for other tracks around the country? Where does this go going forward? The future of this is what the big part of this is about, and it will be interesting to see kind of what the bigger vision is beyond just that Sunday in May that we all gather here for race day.
Brad Brown, RTV Sports, as well as our sports director Dave First at work. We'll have more of that interview with Mr. Penske and Mr. First later today. Should point out, again, the price tag. Many of you are asking how much was the sale for? How much did this place go for? Because these are private companies. Mr. Penske says they will not disclose that. The other big piece of this, of course, 260 people work here in Indianapolis as part of this facility. Their jobs are safe. Working for you and live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rafael Sanchez, now back to you.